Alrighty, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? I would like to say Happy Father's Day today. All the fathers out there that's working hard, have a day for yourself. I'm not a father, but I would like to wish everybody a happy Father's Day today. That is a father. Hope you guys are kicking back, enjoying some barbecue and such, some food. Maybe some reruns of some sports since we're not getting sports live today. So, happy Father's Day, and I'm dedicating this whole live stream to all the fathers out there today for Father's Day. So, let me introduce myself. If you guys don't know me or if you're new to the channel, my name is Mach-E. This is my channel, the Keyse Review. I usually do this live stream once every week on Sundays at 1 o'clock. So if you're new, welcome. If you can, if you like this channel, hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button. That will help me out a lot. Also helps me give you guys better content going on the way. So anyway, here we go. We have a few topics lined up for today. I'm gonna start off with home theater stuff today. So one thing with home theater is that, especially with the new game systems, we're going to go through a whole lot of stuff today. So it's going to be a fundamental change on what our televisions can do with, especially with the upcoming home consoles. So basically there's a lot of new technology that's going to be coming out for it. So let me just change the scenes here, and we'll go on. You go to the next. So basically, here's a TV. This is a Sony TV. This is one of their higher end TV, and basically, going to go a quick overview of what the HDMI 2.1 spec is going to be. I am going to do a special on not just HDMI but TVs in general, going towards the future, and what you as the consumers should be looking out for. So one of the biggest things of HDMI is that the speed is going to be a lot more speed. So you're looking at about 48 gigabits per second versus 18 gigabits per second. With the advent of 4K and 8K TVs now, it's very, very important to have that bandwidth that goes through. It's not just about resolution either. You're also looking at stuff like VRR, variable refresh rate, which is going to be a big thing. What that does basically is sync up, especially for your gaming system, sync up the frames. So you'll be able to do, like, say if your TV is 120 hertz, you'll definitely be able to get that 120 hertz through HDMI 2.1 spec if your source supports the throughput of it. What that does is prevent it from like lagging or look like the screen's kind of like having like a tearing effect and latency and stuff like that. So if you ever played a game and you see kind of like the characters like stutter, basically that could be due to refresh rate. So VRR is definitely one big huge advantage going into the new TV era, when you start looking for a new TV. You also got dynamic HDMR or HDR. So what HDR is, it deals with lighting, it deals with dynamics, things like that, balancing, all the visual stuff that you see with your TVs and stuff like that. HDR start coming out with 4K TVs, and I've said it before that if you don't have a HDR in your 4K TV, you might as well not even have a 4K TV, because HDR really do makes the difference. Like when you see the sun hits a mountaintop, and then you see all the crevices and stuff like that. All that stuff is being done and being replicated by HDR on a 4K TV when you have HDR enabled. So they're going to have what's called dynamic HDR. So what's dynamic HDR is going to be is basically syncing up everything frame by frame. So that's going to be really good for games. Going to be extremely good for your movies and stuff like that. You're going to get that extra oomph, that extra detail with characters and everything like that. So you're also going to have, I mentioned it already, high frame rates, so up to 120 hertz. I'm also hearing that the spec will allow for something higher too. So I'm not sure if anybody had watched my previous video, but one of the executives from Prolifically Digital that makes a Gran Turismo, he had said that they can possibly even go up to 240 hertz, which is just an insane number. I mean, most TVs don't even support 240 hertz as far as natively through the HDMI port. So that would be very interesting to see. You also have eARC. So what eARC does, it's kind of like sound based. So basically, say if you have a receiver, you have a current Dolby Atmos receiver or DTX-X receiver, and those are what's called objection based. And I might even do a video on how those kind of work too. But basically, if you don't have any ports on your receiver or your sound bar, you can use ARC or auto return channel. So what auto return channel does is allow you to use the ports on the TV to transmit the sound and stuff like that to your receiver without really modifying anything. What Enhanced Arc does is that it allows you to use 3D based audio like Dolby Digital Atmos and then DTS-X and stuff like that. So anything that's like 3D objection based, like we know for sure the PlayStation 5 is definitely going to be objection based. Your Xbox Series X is mostly going to be some kind of 3D audio in there as well. I believe we're going to start seeing them in PCs soon. I've been reading some stuff on graphics cards that's saying that they're going to have like chips on there where they can output 3D audio, and definitely your Blu-ray players. So that's going to be really really fun, especially for the people that likes full sound or like more sound. When you have things like either sound bars, surround sound systems, or even your headphones now. A lot of the higher end headphones will be able to simulate that surround sound where it sounds like sounds coming from around you, left, right, top, whatever. So that's going to be a huge thing right there that we have. And my laptop just closed on me. And then as well as auto low latency mode. Low latency latency is kind of huge. So basically, kind of does a little bit what VRR can help with, but just mostly dealing with latency from the TV. So usually most panels are rated in milliseconds. You'll see ratings if you ever see something like 28 ms or 13 ms and stuff like that. That's basically your latency of the screen from when it gets inputted to when it hits the screen. Low latency mode will help you change latency, especially another game feature for when you go ahead and switching to a game and you're playing it, and it needs to get the lowest latency possible. So that will automatically tell the television or the display to go ahead and switch to LLM and go to the lowest latency as possible, so you can get that benefit from the least amount of lag as possible from when you basically hit a button on the controller to the screen. Not much of a home theater feature there as far except for gaming maybe, but definitely a good feature right there. And also I'm hearing that HDMI 2.1, even though this is not official, this is kind of more of a rumor that HDMI 2.1 is going to have a lot to do more with VR. What those functions is, I don't know, but I'm guessing it's going to be kind of like the same thing, being able to display 4K or two 4K images onto the VR headset. Because if anybody ever wore a VR headset, there's usually like two screens in it. So both of those screens are there, like kind of like simulating like a 3D world effect basically. And going into the future, where we're going to be seeing, especially from like games, and there's going to be a lot, everybody thinks VR is just for games. It's not going to be really just for games. They're going to be doing a lot for other content, like, exploring, I don't know, museums. If you're in the shark cage, there's going to be a lot of that stuff that's going to be non-gaming activities that VR is going to be coming out with. So VR could be huge technology for a lot of people. It's hasn't even tipped the iceberg yet what we can do with VR. I mean, a lot of people saying they're working on some really, really cool stuff for VR. HDMI 2.1 is going to be a beneficiary of that. And the reason why I kind of bring it up, like kind of like the HDMI stuff, is mainly with the new game systems, but a lot of the new movies and everything that's coming out now. A lot of developers and studios are now taking advantage of the newer technology. We're going into fully integrating with 4K resolutions and stuff like that, HDR. A lot of people is coming, and I already got this question a couple times this week, like, hey, I want to buy a new TV. Should I buy a new TV right now? It really, really depends on what you want to do. If you're just watching like movies, like like not even like Blu-ray, like Netflix and stuff like that. I don't think they really take it like full advantage of like what 4K and stuff can do. So if you wanted to buy a TV now, you'll be okay. If you want the best technology, if you want everything to be the best it can be, I would say wait. There are a few TVs that's like HDMI 2.1 spec, but here's the issue with that. A lot of them might be missing something. So in other words, just because it's HDMI 2.1 spec, some of the stuff I mentioned there, excuse me, every TV might not have. So like say some TVs might not have eARC, or some TVs might not have dynamic HDR, or some TVs might not have VRR, you know. And you know, my personal opinion, if I'm selling out $1,000 to $2,000 for a television, you know, I want to be able to get my full feature set. So if I'm not getting my full feature set, then why should I spend the money for the TV? You know, especially if you're going to be buying the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. I wouldn't really spend my money yet. I will wait. I'm hearing from a lot of manufacturers like Sony, LG, Samsung, TCL, Vizio, that they're going to be coming out with TVs later on this year. And I'm going to be doing a series on TVs as well. But later on this year, like quarter three, quarter four, I'm guessing, which is around like, you know, fall time, into 2021. I will say hold off on the TVs if you want the best, because once those technologies come out, they're going to be fantastic, especially if you have more of a full home theater system and stuff like that, and you like the bleeding edge, or you want to make sure, you know, your game's going to play the best, you got the best reaction time when you're playing Call of Duty and stuff like that, Gran Turismo. I would highly suggest you hold off on buying a new TV right now. Same thing goes with audio receivers if you're in that same boat. Again, if you're just watching like regular Netflix, Disney Plus, and stuff like that, it's not a huge deal yet. Maybe in the future, once you know, they advance technology a little bit more, especially with the internet, or everybody start going more to like a 1 gigabit connection. But as far as buying a TV right now and getting like all your eggs in one basket, I would say hold off until maybe, you know, check back October, November, and see what's coming out. You know, maybe even, you know, all the way into January. So I would just say hold off, you know, buy the source, like, you know, if you want to buy the gaming systems, buy those soon. But hold off on the television, hold off on maybe the receivers, and the sound bars, you know, so you can get the best possible product for your dollar. So I'm gonna check the chat here real quick, see if anybody's chatting. Let me see. I want that TV. Need to tell us what TV or monitor we should have for the PS5. Yes. Definitely I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I've been planning, because I think I mentioned it on a previous video, that I was gonna do some stuff on HDMI 2.1. Those plans changed. So basically, instead of doing a HDMI 2.1 video, I'm gonna do a whole TV series, and it's gonna be multiple videos. So I'm thinking maybe like 10 minutes each, you know, something around that you know, threshold for a video. So I'm definitely going to do it, explaining, you know, even down to like what the panels have, you know, processing. A lot of people don't think about processing, you know. Do you need that smart TV? You know, is a smart TV needed? You know, I know a lot of TVs are coming just with the smart feature right now, but like say if you got like a Chromecast, if you got a gaming system, if you got a Blu-ray player, you really don't need a smart TV if it has all the technology you want. And from that, you can save some money. You know, there's some manufacturers, it's kind of few and far in between. They'll still make just a monitor only, which means there's no TV inputs like the RF, you know, where you plug in cable and stuff like that. So it basically won't have the tuner in it. But if all you need is the monitor, that's all you need. Because honestly, on my TV is just being used as a monitor, really. I never used the tuner inside the TV. I mean, I got Direct TV, I got the PlayStations. You know, I've been like sometimes stream wirelessly from my Surface. So there's no need for me to have like a full blown out TV. But hey, that's how they come after a certain size, right? So yeah, so I will hold off buying a TV because a lot of them don't have the HDMI spec. I know they said LG came out and said some of their TVs, you know, as far as speed, might only run from 20 gigabits to 40 gigabits per second, and not the full 48 gigabits, which could be something in the future, especially when you're pushing more frame rates, when you're doing dynamic HDR, when you're doing VRR, stuff like that. So, you know, especially if you're a gamer, I would not buy a TV right now. Hold off on it. if you're doing a high-end home theater, if you're not in a rush to buy it, I would say hold off a little bit, because once you start, hold off and wait for these technologies to mature a little bit, it's going to be very, very good for you guys. So I would say hold off on purchasing a TV right now. Okay, so let's move on. Or actually, before we move on, let's see if anybody else chatted. Not yet. Cool. So yeah, keep on participating in the chat, guys. I got my phone on the chat. I got my tablet with my notes over here. We got another thing with remote, so we're doing it big today. The Keyse review has been growing if you've been with me since day one. So a lot of exciting things happening. So keep on chatting in those windows. I'll be answering your chats. Now we're going to go over to Apple. So Apple's going to have a huge event. For those of you guys that don't know, they're having their worldwide developers conference tomorrow. There's going to be actually two showcases because of the coronavirus. I guess they kind of did it that way. So there's one event that's going to be starting, I want to say, around 10 o'clock, and another one starting about 1 o'clock. So I won't be doing that live because I had a couple of things already planned. But you better believe I'm gonna try to get back home as soon as possible and come and do reviews and stuff like that, and my opinions and stuff on whatever they unveiled. In the meantime, we got rumors, that's going around. So there's a few things that we have that's going on in the Apple world right now. So for starters, if you have a tower, you can do, you have the new OS that's rumored to be coming out. So they're going to have the new Mac OS. They are saying that it should be closing the gap between the mobile, which is iOS, and Mac OS. So I'm going to guess that they're going to be doing a lot more integration, maybe. Maybe you can do more transferring, easier from the phone, from your Apple phone to your, MacBook Pro or your iMac or something like that. I'm not sure what features they're going to have. We should know by tomorrow, the end of the day. But there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be unveiled for Apple as far as Mac OS. So that's one thing that should be on the stage tomorrow. We're going to be getting a look like a new Watch OS as well. So I'm guessing that kind of fits into being able to integrate more mobile. Having the watch and integrating more with your ecosystem if you have an Apple ecosystem. So the Apple Watch, it looks like we might be seeing a new version of the Apple Watch tomorrow, or at least an upgraded operating system of the watch, where it's going to be having a lot of benefits and stuff like that. So you can be looking at their home technologies where they're integrating with smart technologies and stuff like that. You could be looking at maybe more fitness apps, expanding stuff like that. Better interoperability with your Apple phone, and maybe something with the computers as well. And we also got to watch a new Mac. So there should be a new iMac coming out. From what I'm hearing, this new iMac will not use an Intel chip. I'm not sure. It's just rumor. We won't know until tomorrow. But what I'm hearing is that they will not use an Intel chip. Apple has been working very, very hard at using an ARM chip. So what an ARM chip is, for anybody that's wondering, if you have an iPhone, or if you have like a Samsung phone, Sony phone, Google phone, Pixel, whatever, most of those are built off of a ARM architecture, which is like a reduced instruction set. It's kind of complicated to explain, but it uses an ARM chip for the most part. So like if you hear like the word Snapdragon, usually the underlying technology is an ARM processor in it. So it can help save a little bit of cash. Maybe it's Apple, so we don't know. It will also reduce how much stuff you need. Which will make sense if they're coming out with the new OS, because if you come out with the new OS, you have to code it differently, because with Intel, they uses a, I'm burping. They're using a x86 64-bit architecture, which just means a lot of ones and zeros, basically, for the normal person. So it's a very, very complex system. So with Apple going to ARM, not only they can do more apps that's kind of like cater to Apple products, and that's more interoperable and more compatible with the phone and the your desktops and laptops. it also helps them control a lot more stuff. They don't have to rely, on like Intel, because we know Intel, they sold so many chips. I mean, they start getting on a shortage. So that's going to be interesting to see if Apple unveils that tomorrow. We also got they say they should be using a Navi chip. I'm hearing maybe Big Navi, which would be kind of weird if they, well, I wouldn't say it would be weird if they announced it for a later date. But it looks like, they already been using AMD primarily for a lot of their graphics cards. So this is not a surprise, but it'll be interesting to see if it's RDNA too. So we'll definitely see what the iMac will have. It's going to be interesting. I wonder how slim it's going to be, if they're going to try to make it slimmer, which I think personally the iMac is slim enough. Note they also have the iMac Pro, so that comes into the question. If you're going to redesign the iMac, would you redo the iMac Pro to use this new A14 chip? I wouldn't put my money on that one, because the iMac Pro is kind of more of a production machine. It's a higher price point. So, and for the Pro Audio, guys, and the Pro Video guys, where they're using like Final Cut Pro, Pro Tools, Studio One, Media Composer, stuff like that. They are not going to want to have an ARM chip, because most likely it's not going to be compatible with it, and it's going to be doing a lot of things that the ARM chip won't be able to handle. I am hearing, though, if you're curious about security, though, we'll have the T2 chip in there. So for somebody that, try to take your drive out the computer or something like that, whoever does that, you have the T2 chip that will actually encrypt all the data onto the computer. So somebody try to take it, take your drive out, put it somewhere else, don't have to worry about it. It's encrypted for that machine and that machine only. So unless they have the key to unlock it, they will not be able to get into that machine. And then we have that stuff. Yeah. Oh, as far as the chips, there's rumored to be 3 chips. So they got 3 models. So if they do got 3 models, then you definitely can, see that they're going to be coming up with something big pretty soon. So we're going to go on to some gaming news. So we know the last few weeks, honestly, has been very, very big for gaming, or I would even say possibly a couple of months. We've been getting a lot of news from Sony. We've been getting a lot of news from Xbox, from Microsoft. Google Stadia is supposed to be coming out with something special. We have the EA. I haven't watched it yet, but the EA event was the other day. So we have a lot of stuff going on in gaming. Gaming, this is their year where we're going to get the consoles. We're going to get all this great technology that comes out that's going to expand to all the other stuff, So, of course, we're going to start with the PlayStation. PlayStation came up huge. On YouTube alone, I just checked it this morning before I started this podcast. They had over 12 million views, guys, on YouTube. If you imagine 12 million views, that's a lot of people. They had, well, it was 1 million, but I'm not sure if they removed the video or something like that, or changed like some of the stuff with the video. But they're about like 500,000 likes, and about 50,000 dislikes. So, I mean, 50,000, that's less than 1%, basically. So, huge event for Sony. They really came up big, and that's just the event video. I'm seeing some where I think it was like, what was I seeing? It was Horizon, I think, where it was like 48 million views or some crazy number like that. I mean, yeah, they did the right thing by waiting. They built up, all this, what's Sony gonna do? And all this hysteria, and people wondering, oh my God, they're going to be scared of Microsoft. And they was like, nope, let me flip the switch. Bam. Here's the PS5, and here's 26 games. So, I mean, Sony really did come up big on the event, to the point where people now is wondering if Xbox can recover from it. Which I personally think it's going to be too soon, to say that Xbox lost. I mean, the system's not even out yet. And to me, I don't think either system's going to lose. There's just going to be somebody that's number 1, and there's going to be somebody that's number 2. So who's going to be number 1? Who's going to be number 2? That depends on the consumers, and what they want. I got a video actually coming out. I'm going into a deep dive of the PlayStation and everything that I know. That should be dropping out tomorrow. I uploaded it this morning. So that's scheduled to come out tomorrow. I think I scheduled it about noonish, 10 or noon and something like that, between 10 in the morning to noon. So that video should be dropping. Watch out for that video to drop tomorrow. And then we have, oh, the DualSense video. So if you guys watched my last video, y'all know I was talking about some grooves in the DualSense controller. So here's the video right here, and we'll go ahead and play it. So now, let me see if I can pause it on time. Because if you look on the back of the controller, there's like a notch. And I'm really, really wondering what this notch is. So, like, you know, kind of like only eagle eye people will notice it. Let me see where it goes. It's a beautiful video. Jesus. Oh, no, not right there. And you see most ascension, charging, integrated speakers, headphone port. Right there. Oh, I missed it. Let me see if I can rewind. Let me see if I can go back. So if you guys see right about, of course the video goes so fast. It's like a blink of an eye type thing. Right there actually. So if you guys look over here, right here in this little spot, there's a little notch. And you can see it better in the motion. So you see a notch. There's actually a couple of notches back there. Like you can barely see it, but it's right there. So I'm very, very, very interested to wonder what kind of accessories they have. So for those of you that know that Sony actually came out with a back button accessory with like a little touchscreen for the PlayStation 4, for the DualShock 4. So I'm wondering, is it going to be an attachment for that? Are we going to get other attachments? That's going to be very, very interesting to see what's going on at that point, you know? So, I mean, just some exciting technology from Sony. Can't say enough about them, really. Now we have this. So if you're seeing this slide right now, there's something interesting with this slide. So for those of you guys that, you know, was born basically playing the PlayStation 1, you know, there was this little game, you know, one of the most popular games around the time and what was considered the mascot of the PlayStation, little game called Crash Bandicoot. We got word that there will be a Crash Bandicoot game. It's going to be releasing on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. They're going to unveil the stuff tomorrow. I believe they said 8 p.m. I'm going to try to wake up at that time. And, you know, if I can live stream it, I might try to live stream it. But Crash Bandicoot, I mean, that's a very, very popular game. A lot of people have been asking for a remake of it. From what the rumors are saying, this is going to be a sequel. So it's going to be interesting for, to see a Crash Bandicoot, like a full Crash Bandicoot game that's not made by Naughty Dog. And that's going to be coming out. That's going to be a sequel. Especially considering, you know, how many years this passed from 1996, where they was doing all the games, all the way now to 2020. You know, what kind of visual, you know, what kind of visuals we're going to be seeing? What kind of technologies are they going to be using with the controllers? You know, like, is this going to still be a platformer? Are they going to add RPG elements? So we should know everything tomorrow. Sony's been teasing it on their social media pages and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll definitely see what they're going to be coming out with tomorrow, you know? So Crash Bandicoot, one of my favorite games. I cannot wait to see what happens with Crash Bandicoot tomorrow. So I'll definitely be there. I think I see some activity here on the Christians. Love the Keyse review. Oh, I appreciate it, guys. I really do. I work really hard at doing some of these videos, so I really appreciate that you guys appreciate it. Last night I was up till like about 4 o'clock editing videos last night, so you know I was tired. Luckily I got enough sleep, and then woke up and videos rendered, which this new software I'm using rendered it fast. So yeah, uploaded that, and that video is going to be coming out tomorrow for the PlayStation thing. So I'm really happy that you guys appreciate the channel. I put a lot of heart and soul into it, and we're going to keep on putting some more into it, you know, and we got some more exciting stuff here. Like even now we're already like about 30 minutes in, so I'm not going to try to make it too long because today's Father's Day, you know, and I got to be somewhere. But you know, this is good stuff. I love doing this stuff. A lot of work, but we're getting some more stuff. I got some more accessories recently for my tablet and stuff. I got some lights coming in, so you guys will be able to see me better. I'll be working towards, you know, getting better cameras and everything like that. So, you know, keep tuned on the Keyse review, man. We're about to blow up. You know, we going worldwide with this thing right now. So let's go on. We got the Xbox. So Microsoft came out apparently and said that the event that they're going to have in July is going to have a series of multiple mic drops. So that's going to be very interesting. They say that because it's like what mic drops they're going to have. I'm guessing they're going to show a lot of gameplay, you know, We're going to see a lot of first parties. Microsoft has been working very hard at getting a lot of first party developers. I think, I don't remember for sure, but they might even have a couple more than Sony at this point. That doesn't necessarily translate to a better game, but having a first party to me is essential. Like, it's your bread and butter. You cannot have a gaming console without having some great first party developers. I think that's one of the main reasons why I go towards Sony for my gaming preferences for the most part. I mean, look at all the top end like game developers that they have. I mean, you can just survive just playing the first party games and be okay with the game systems, so I'm really happy to see that Microsoft is getting to get together with those first party developers, not just relying on Halo, hopefully, and Gears of War, and going out and getting those first party developers. So I really, really, really hope that we see a lot of great games. I want to see more action games, more solo games. Cause I mean, I play multiplayer games all the time, but then, sometimes you want your solo games, you want your Uncharted, you want your Horizons, your Death Strandings, like those type of games, like you gotta have, or at least for me, I don't know how everybody else is, but for me at least, I like to have a multitude of games to play, So if I don't feel like playing this game, might play this one for a whole month instead of playing all the other ones, And then I might go back to this game after I didn't play it for a month and then play it. Now I'm in the mood, or I have the 8 hours to fully concentrate on just the game, which is few and far in between lately, but I try. But yeah, so huge event in January. They said it's gonna be some mic drops, so I'm holding them up. Phil Spencer, don't let us down, Phil Spencer. So we got that, and we also should be. I'm hearing a lot of more stuff with Lockhart. So I don't remember if I had this in my news bites, but they had leaked it, or somebody seen in the Windows code that there's Lockhart on it. So for those of you that don't know, Lockhart is supposed to be the smaller version of the Xbox Series X. So basically their Series S is going to be the Series S for the most part. What that Series S is going to have, from what I'm hearing, is not going to have 4K resolution as far as rumors concerned. It's going to have a smaller drive in it. Of course, it's not going to have a disk drive. I'm not sure how true it is, because I don't want to tell you guys that it's going to be true, because not having 4K even on the S, I'm not sure. I understand that more people has 1080p TVs than 4K, so it'll be interesting to see if they go to one that's just going to be doing 1080p. The only reason I would say they'll go for that is for the price point. I honestly do think that Microsoft this generation is going to beat Sony on the price point. I just think that the PlayStation is going to be I think that this version is going to be between $500 and $600 personally. It's going to be interesting to see Microsoft trying to drop that down below that. I don't think they should drop the Series X down below 500. I think that's going to be 500. But from what I'm hearing from the rumors, that the Series S is going to be about 300, which would be crazy. But it will make sense if they drop 4K requirements from it. But then, how much more strain do that put on the developers too? So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what they do with that stuff, to go ahead and have a cheaper system, I think. Not so much a cheaper system, but just another option. I think it's paramount. I mean, look at cell phones. We got so many options for cell phones now. That's where our game systems is going. You can't just simply have just one box and then expect it to appear for everybody, So I love, having the two consoles, just have those, I feel like it's the best thing to do. Maybe even a third one, So let me just check the chat real quick. How everybody doing? What's up, everybody? Is he Keyse talking Apple? Cool. Hey, just because I'm not an Apple guy, don't mean I don't pay attention. I pay attention to a little bit of everything. For my job, a lot of people ask me for advice. I actually interface with Apple a lot still. A lot of my family got Apple phones, so when they have issues, I help them out. So I'm around Apple a lot more than what you guys know. And then for those of you know that, when I was in the studio, hey, I had to mess with Apples a lot. I took them apart, put, new hard drives in them, redid the OSs in them. So I've been around Apple, a lot, including $10,000 Mac Pros. So don't think I don't know my Apple products, guys. I do. I just prefer Windows. That's just my preference, But yeah, so let's move on. So we got a little bit of auto news, and I'm a car guy. I always wanted to get to a little auto news, and today is the day, especially on Father's Day. So what better things to talk about on Father's Day than a couple of cars, man? So I'm gonna actually show you guys a little something something. So here's this company. Some people are calling this the Tesla killer. This is a company that's called Lucid Motors. Lucid Motors. They're creating an electric car. They're saying that this car is going to beat the Tesla Model S Raven in acceleration. So for those of you that know, if you got the Tesla Model S Raven, those things can go very fast. They're a 3-second car, 3-second on the quarter mile. Lucid is saying that they're going to beat that. I'm going to tell you why. So this Lucid vehicle is called the Air, the Lucid Air. This vehicle is going to have 1,000 horsepower. That's insane, guys. 1,000 horsepower. So they said that this model should be able to beat the regular Tesla S, you know, to like, what was the number? Like 2.8 seconds or something like that, I believe. 2.5 seconds, I'm sorry. 2.5 seconds. Now, the Raven model can do about 2.25 seconds. Excuse me, let me drink some water, guys. My voice is already giving up on me. That can do about 2.28 seconds. Lucid was like, well, we got another little trick on our sleeve. We're going to come out with a 3-motor 1800 horsepower car, guys. Insane. 1800 horsepower. Can you imagine that? On a consumer car. They're saying this thing is going to be street legal. 1800 horsepower on the street. Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not, you know, an electric car guy, I mean, 1800 horses doesn't make you giddy. You know what I'm saying? They saying that thing should be able to do under 2.18 seconds on a quarter. I mean, bro, you know what I'm saying? And it's not a bad looking vehicle. Look at it. Look like I didn't read all the specs on it yet, but it looks like we got like a 20-inch rim right there. You can just see the details. That's by the door handles. Here's the seats. I mean, that just looks sexy. Might even look better than Tesla. I've been in Tesla recently. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little let down by some of the paneling and stuff like that. At least in the trunk area. They have black seats up front. I think this is an interesting choice. They have black seats up front, you know. So rear seating. It's gonna be a big sedan. And here's another one. You can also lay down. Like, laying down in a car, guys, like. Now, me personally, I like to drive, but, you know, you never know. Maybe I'll go through a drive-through movie theater or something like that. Just lay down in my Lucid Air. 1800 horsepower car. Bro, I mean, I can't wait to see this thing on the streets, man. I really can't. Like, let me see if we can go back real quick and just see, like, how that front looks. I mean, like the LEDs, that just looks like, look at that, dude. That just looks mean. That really looks mean, bro. Like that, I don't even want to know how much it's going to cost to replace the LED headlights on this thing. Like, you can already tell that's going to be an expensive car. That's going to be a 6-figure car. There's no getting around it. Like, it's going to be pricey. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a cheap vehicle. But yeah, for those of you that want to be lazy, or like the women's probably going to want to be back there because they can recline. That's that. But I like to drive, though. You know, give me the wheel, son. So that's that. That's for the Lucid. So we go on to Ford news. So Ford Motors, for those of you that know that Ford is coming out with a new Mustang, an electric Mustang that is called the Mustang Mach-E. They are saying that they're going to put on autonomous driving onto it. So basically, for those of you that know, you know, Tesla has autonomous driving. The Ford's coming out with the same thing for the Mustang. So be looking out for that. Hands-free driving. Well, I don't know about the hands-free part because I believe law says that you still have to have your hands on the wheel, technically, you know. So we'll see how far they go with it. But they said, you know, basically hands-free driving. I'm not sure with the rules and regulations. And honestly, it's kind of scary because, A, you know, the computer can make errors too. And depending on the road conditions, because these cars uses a whole bunch of sensors, if you have a dirt gravel road or have a broken road or can't see reflectors that good, it could start to drift and stuff like that. So to be completely hands-free, I'm not sure, but they are going to have some kind of autonomous modes inside these Mustangs now. So I wanted to bring that up. As you can see right there on the graphic, you can see on the middle left right there, it says hands-free. That means that the car is in autonomous mode. If it's going to be completely hands-free, I am not sure. Like I said, depends on the law. I doubt that a lot of people wants to, or the government's going to want to hear about hands-free driving unless it's 100% safe. But we'll see. And who knows? Maybe the way that some people drive, this might help out. So maybe they need some hands-free driving because some people do not know how to drive. Somebody almost hit me the other day. So interesting technology. I'm gonna be trying to do a lot more stuff regarding car technology in the future too. So be looking on that. I'm gonna try to get some special guests together, talk some cars, stuff like that. But there's our car segment, guys. Let's see how we doing in the chat. How you everybody doing? I'm doing fine, guys. Thanks for joining the chats. Cool. Good stuff. So got Lucid Air news right there. We got some Mustang Mach-E news right there. Now we're going to our last subject of the day, architecture. So I got a special one for you guys. So you guys see this? Another Father's Day special right here. This is, if I can get the video started. Let me see, I might have to press it. There we go. So for those of you that knows, our beloved Rams and the Chargers, if you're in that kind of thing, this is the new stadium, SoFi Stadium. See this thing that they showcasing right there in the middle right there? That's called the Oculus. That's the display, their scoreboard or what you say, for the SoFi Stadium. This thing is amazing. Like, I've watched a whole bunch of videos on there. I might start including them on my Facebook and Twitter if you guys want to see some other videos that they made. This thing is a marveling feat. For starters, and I need to turn off my screen, my power save mode, because I don't need it plugged in. But basically, this thing is a monster. Like, you guys can just see it right there. It just looks humongous, man. I mean, that thing is gorgeous. And this is off. I don't think that this video had any video on, but like I said, I'll try to post some more videos. This thing is, first of all, there's a screen inside of it and outside of it. So if you look right there, you can kind of see on the outside, but if you kind of look kind of over that little panel right there, there's a screens all in the inside too. So it's dual screen. You'll be able to see this thing from wherever you're sitting. You'll also be able to see it from outside from what they said, and it's going to be kind of lower to ground level because I believe that they had dug 100 feet in the ground for ground level to, pass FAA restrictions and everything like that, restrictions and regulations, which I'm completely fine with. I kind of like the whole design with the stadium being dug down underground. I've been to, what was it, Herbalife Stadium or whatever the stadium that the Galaxy played in, and there's a kind of like dug in the ground like that, and it makes a difference, dude. I actually prefer the stadiums being a little bit dug underground. I think it's better. But going back to the Oculus display, so let me just tell you some of the specs on here. So you have dual 4K screens running at 120 hertz. So yeah, they're definitely going to need that HDMI 2.1 cable, guys. So, HDMI, 4K, 120 hertz. This thing's got 80 million pixels. Most displays maybe have 8 to 10. This thing's going to have 80 million pixels. It has, inside this display right here, 260 speakers. So you have 260 speakers inside the display, guys. That's insane. I want to know how many speak-on cables they use for that. I mean, geez. Like, that's a lot of speakers. Also, you should have no problems with getting a cell phone signal in here, especially if you got 5G. That's going to have 5G antennas inside the display itself, guys. So they say they didn't mention how many it was, but they said there's a lot of antennas, that's 5G antennas, that's inside this display right here. So some will probably be for, for us, some will probably be for the broadcasters and everything like that, but they said a whole bunch of 5K displays inside of it. and it's also 120 yards long. So if you guys know, a football field is about 100 yards, you know, or about 300 feet. This thing is 120, so it's an extra 20 yards bigger than the actual field itself. So it kind of engulfs the field, I'm guessing, and if you want to know how much it weighs, just want to let you guys know that you're going to have 2.2 million pounds over your head, guys. 2.2 million pounds. That thing is a beast. Like, geez, like I'm definitely got to post the links on it. Like, you guys got to see how they work with the individual panels and stuff. And actually this week on one of the guys I watched, John Kay, he was like kind of like looking at some of them, and they was doing like some of the testing and stuff like that from the screen. But I mean, man, let me play this video back. That thing's monstrous. That thing's gorgeous. I mean, the stadium's gorgeous alone. Just look, like, man, I cannot wait till all this COVID restrictions and stuff lift, man. Like, look at the stadium. And this video is a month old. They got a lot more done since then. So, but that Oculus, that's going to be a huge thing with technology, man. Like, that's a big technological advance. They calling it one of the best screens in any kind of sports venue ever. I don't think there's anything that is going to come close to it right now, including, those Raiders in Las Vegas. They trying to say, oh, we got the screens on the outside. Well, guess what? We got the Oculus, son. And it's going to be outside. So, yeah, that thing's going to be monstrous. 2.2 million pounds, 120 yards, 4K, 120 hertz screens, 260 speakers, 5K antennas, guys. Like, yeah, I cannot ready to go and see some Rams Jackson, man. I just can't wait. That thing's going to be gorgeous. I might have to send in the sky boxes, man. Screw the regular seats. We might have to get a few buddies up or some family and go look at some of the boxes, So, but yeah, man, like, that's the good stuff right there, That's really, really good stuff. So, that's basically all I got today, guys. So, we just leave this. Let me check the chats, a little bit of Q&A. We're just about an hour almost, so some really, really good stuff that was shown today. A lot of good technology that's going out, guys. Really, really liking, what we're going to be getting for our television technology. TV technology or monitor technology is going to be huge. Even though it seems like it's not, it's going to advance a lot, guys. We just got to wait for the manufacturers to get their chipsets in place, get the displays in check, make sure they got HDMI ports on them that's 2.1 compatible. Some of the ones that I was talking about only have maybe, one HDMI 2.1 port, which that's all you really need, because, the only thing that's really going to be compatible now is computers and gaming systems. We don't have a Blu-ray, as far as I know, that's going to be out, that's going to have 2.1 this year. I also don't think we're going to have any receivers or soundbars that's going to have HDMI 2.1 this year. So, I'm definitely going to be following up a lot on those stories and letting you guys know. We'll see what Apple does tomorrow. Huge event for Apple. A lot of Mac news across the board. I just mentioned a little bit of it. I know they're going to be going through their home series products. I know they're going to be talking about a lot of fitness stuff. We'll see, are we going to get a new iMac? Are we going to get a new iPhone tomorrow? Which I think the iPhone might be a separate event, but you never know. Sony, Apple, can surprise people, or they do, oh, wait, there's one more thing, Mac OS, is Mac OS going to use just apps? Are they going to get away from x86 64 programming? Get away from those programs, just use your, apps that you can use from the phone. Are we going to see that? What's the new Apple Watch going to look like? PlayStation, Sony's killing it just before the systems even launched. And note, we just have, I haven't got it yet, but we just have The Last of Us 2 that just released. Little bit polarizing reviews, but to me, and I've seen a little bit of it, so I kind of saw some spoilers for myself, but if you guys watch Game of Thrones, or if you watch The Walking Dead, you're going to expect some of the stuff that's going to, like with those shows, expect the unexpected, because people, let me just put it this way. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen that's going to make you pissed off, might even make you cry. But I think it's going to be a great game. I'm probably going to eventually pick it up sometime this week. I've just been a lot busy. I haven't even finished Death Stranding yet. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty too with friends. So, yeah, we definitely can't wait to see, what else is going to be coming out with Sony. Like I say, a lot of the video is going to be coming out for tomorrow. It's going to be explaining, deep diving more into it and what we haven't seen yet and, what we will be seeing. Lockhart. Microsoft, we got to see the Series S, man. Is it going to be $300? That's going to be interesting, Are you guys going to try to beat Sony to the price point? Are you guys going to make the Xbox Series X $400? Are you going to keep it at $500? I think it's going to be $500. Autos, Lucid Motors. We're going to finally have a true competitor to Tesla. That's going to be very, very interesting. Everybody's going to have to be on top of their game for these electric cars now, and these hybrid cars. So we're going to see more and more electric cars as time goes on, guys. So just expect that. Battery technology, they're doing a lot with battery technology. That might be something I might touch on in a future video. But battery technology is going to be huge, not just for cars, for cell phones, for tablets, for laptops, mobile devices. Battery technology, somebody's trying, it's the Wild Wild West right now with battery technology. And that's going to be indicative of what we're going to be using in the future. Ford, are we going to be doing hands-free driving? I don't know. I think there's going to be restrictions on that, but we'll see. And the Oculus, that thing spoke for itself. And I'm probably going to try to find some time this week. Probably try to drive by SoFi, maybe get a couple of shots of it, post it here on the Keyse review, stuff like that. So, that thing is just a technological marvel, man. 260 speakers, guys. 2.2 million pounds. Man, I don't want that thing dropping on my head, geez. That's why they had those super thick cables on there, and somebody did pass away. So rest in peace for whoever, I think somebody had fell from the ceiling. So rest in peace, whoever that was. I'm not sure who this person was. I didn't see much reports of the name or anything like that, but, kind of sad that somebody died, but hopefully we can enjoy SoFi Stadium in that person's honor, and giving his life, for entertainment. So just a little rest in peace for that guy. But anyway, let me check the chats one more time before we log off of here. Thanks for the review. You're welcome. That's dope. I'm guessing you mean the Oculus. Yes, the Oculus is, the Oculus is damn good. So good stuff right there, guys. But anyway, guess I'll be logging off from here. Thank you for joining the Keyse review. Again, if you guys can hit that like, and give me a subscription. If you found this informative, if you found something that you didn't know before, share it with a friend. We usually do the live stream. I'm thinking I'm getting a schedule every Sunday about 1 o'clock. If I have a change of plans, I will always post it. But for the most part, we're just going to keep the Sunday at 1 o'clock. I think that works the best for everybody. Give everybody a chance. If you want to go to church, take care of the family, stuff like that, and then come on 1. Watch it on your big screen, your cell phones, your Surfaces, your tablets, whatever you got. I appreciate the love. You guys go out, have a good time, respect one another, love one another, and I would say hug anybody, but you don't know if they got the COVID, so just give them an elbow bump, what I'm saying? So you guys be safe out there. I'll be seeing you guys next week for the live stream, 1 o'clock. Trying to get a special guest. I'm not sure if I can do that, but if not, we're still going to have a good time nonetheless. So you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Be safe. Peace.